Hello and welcome to Beyond the Surface. This is Angela Bertone, your host, and today I will share with you a short teaching from July of 2017. Let's talk about how our belief system in the logical brain affects our actual world that we create around us by the way we observe it. Okay, so the logical brain in your frontal lobe, one of the things that it does in addition to gathering data, like 2 plus 2 is 4, and my appointment is Friday at 10 o'clock, or whatever, or how do I park my car. The other thing that the logical brain does is it's designed to ask questions. When the logical brain asks a question, it's also called a wonder. I wonder how to do this, or I wonder how to do that. And your brain will automatically begin to calculate without your knowledge, without your consciousness. So it's calculating in your subconscious in addition to whatever you're aware of. So you got two parts of you that are now calculating, communicating back and forth. And what happens if you meditate on something you wonder long enough, which is about 72 hours, your body will begin to create a neonet, like an antenna, that will attract all the possibilities to him who believes all things are possible. Okay? So the possibilities began to come to us from the universe. Why? It's the way God created it. If you look at anything that makes something live that's in the earth, it's what comes from above that makes it live. Water and heat. It's the same way with us, because everything that's created in the natural is unveiled or made seeable by what is created. That's Romans 1 and 20. So we look at the field where we plant our garden, and we put seeds under the ground and we cover them up so that the seed is in the darkness on purpose. Another word for darkness is to not know, to wonder. Okay, so God puts himself in a wondering place on purpose. We are fearfully and wonderfully made. So when you have a wonder, it means I don't know. Okay? If you knew, you wouldn't need God. But because you don't know, and you are the place of not knowing, which is the same thing as Noah and Enoch, okay? Their names mean that, and one's the father of the other. And so if you maintain the place of wonder and you don't miss it, you meditate on it, it will create in its own nature, by itself, a root system. But the root system will be inside of you, in your heart and your brain. The earth is made out of soil, and you're made out of soil. The earth absorbs light in the form of heat from the atmosphere, from the sun, and the earth absorbs water from the atmosphere through dew and rain, snow, hail. Okay? Likewise, so do you. You receive heat from the sun, S-O-N. What is heat? Pressure, stress, life, truth. Truth, how am I going to pay my bills? Is going to make pressure. Any kind of stressors that's going to come in your life, those are not by accident. They're by design. Because without stress, you cannot grow nor get stronger. And the seed that's inside of you, or the wonder, the idea that's inside of you, can't split open and become something bigger than what you imagined. See, I cannot see, nor can ears hear, nor can enter into your heart the plans that God has for you. So if they don't enter in, where do they come from? They come from inside of it when your idea is split apart and you can't figure it out. Why? Because if you could, you wouldn't need God. See, the soil needs the sun and the rain. Rain means blessings from heaven. It comes out of thin air, right? So does the sprout just manifest out of darkness, right? After the seed under pressure splits open, and then that which is inside of it begins to come out. So inside of all word is the power of life and death. And the tongue is both. Now, we've been taught that it's either or. No, it is both. Both life and death is inside of every seed. Now, which one will manifest? It's based on your beliefs. It's based on the way that you see things. So your belief, your observation of life in and of itself, and more importantly, your observation of how God feels towards you, that is what's going to determine what your seed produces. Because as a man thinks, so is he, and whatever you believe, you'll have. So guess what the number one struggle that most men have? Fear of failure. Because they've observed their prior failures in their life. And they felt a certain way growing up. And when you feel like a failure in the presence of your father or your mother or your siblings or your coach or your teacher or your boss, and you feel like a failure, your feelings are 5,000 times stronger magnetically than your brain, and your feelings are 100 times stronger electronically than your brain. Now, what part of the brain are we talking about? The logical brain, the reasoning brain, the intellectual brain, your frontal lobe brain, the place where wonder is. We have been taught to live out of there rather than seek first the kingdom of God and all these things will be added, and the kingdom of God is inside of you. We've also been taught, lean not into your own understanding, but trust the Lord your God with all your heart. And he said, actually, don't lean, he said, trust the Lord your God with all your heart, lean not into your own understanding. Actually, it's trust the Lord with your heart first. Why does he say lean not into your own understanding? Because when your heart manifests something, the first place you're going to go to is your brain to figure it out. And God's going, don't lean into that. Trust me with what's in your heart, and I'll direct your path. Here's the way that works. Excitement, gratitude, peace, joy, and the understanding I am loved and I am blessed, dwelling in your members is a frequency. That frequency is what draws to itself the frequency that blesses the seed that's in you and causes it to grow. No different than if you have an acorn in the ground, it will draw to itself light and water and all the nutrients out of that soil and become an oak tree. If you have an acorn that has a hole in it or a worm in it, that same acorn, 2 inches away from the acorn that's whole, will turn into dust. How? It will draw to itself mold and bugs and whatever else that will eat it up and make it go back to dust. Right? So when you've had enough of failure, enough of your ideas turning into dust, it'll make you go, what in the world is wrong? I keep doing all this stuff and everything just keeps falling apart. It'll make you dig. It'll make you seek God. It'll make you seek for truth, which is what brought you to where you are right now. You're now seeking inside of you, in the kingdom of God, for truth, rather than looking outside of yourself for truth. Why? Because you've figured out God lives in you. And you've tasted and you've seen that when you go into your heart and into your emotions, your marriage changes. Your work changes. Your relationship with your children change. Why? Because your relationship with God inside of you changed. When you come from the perspective that I am loved and you're no longer believing lies about yourself, that frequency is what you'll attract to you. However, on the other hand, if you believe, my God, I'm always failing. My daddy was right. My mama was right. My coach was right. My teacher was right. No matter what I do, it ain't good enough. Something always sabotages it. I always get right on the brink and then something pulls it right out from under me. If that's your belief, guess what you'll create? That. Why? Because the observer affects the seed. The observer affects the wonder, the idea, the flag, the sign, the monument, the token. And God says if you miss that, you'll miss your miracle. Are you ready to embrace the wonder and not miss your miracle today nor any day? Thank you so much for listening. I'm Angela Bertone, your host. Join me next time on Beyond the Surface.